Welcome to Healers Talk Healing, the podcast where we gather to explore the art and science of holistic healing, uncovering the secrets to a happier, healthier you. I'm your host, Nina Ganguly, and together we will delve into the intriguing world of holistic healing, delving into the mind-body connection, ancient wisdom, and natural remedies. Get ready for enlightening stories, thought-provoking expert interviews, and practical tips that will empower you to unlock your true potential and embrace a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're an experienced wellness enthusiast or simply curious about the power of healing, join us on this exhilarating journey as we share the wisdom and insights that can truly transform your life. It's time to embark on a voyage towards a happier, healthier you. So, without further ado, let's dive into the captivating world of Healers Talk Healing. Well, we're back for another episode of Healers Talk Healing with Lynn Divergis and myself, Nina Ganguly, and we are excited to dive in to something that's so important. Every time of the year, every day, but specifically around this time of year. So at the time of our recording, we are moving into getting close to our American Thanksgiving, and we want to talk about gratitude, the power of the discussion around all of that kind of juicy stuff. So let's just start here with saying, first of all, we are thankful to all of you who tune in, who take away something from our conversations. Honestly, all we literally do is press record. We have and you get to listen in to our conversations around whatever it is we decide that we want to share with you. You would think that we were more structured and we had these big plans, and we really don't. And I think that's what makes it so juicy, so authentic. And like I said, I'm so grateful for all of our listeners and viewers, those of you who are watching us on YouTube and listening to us wherever you can get your podcasts from. We really do appreciate the time that you spend with us. And thank you so much. Lynn, gratitude.
Yes.
That attitude of gratitude. Who hasn't heard that?
The attitude of gratitude. And it should go together. Attitude of gratitude, not attitude or gratitude.
Mhm.
Better to always have the gratitude and not the attitude, right?
Very
Anyway,
true.
thanks to everyone. Yes, very, very grateful. And the reason that we decided to talk about this today is because it was Thanksgiving in Canada in October. We have Thanksgiving in the United States this month, in fact, next week. And also during the December winter holiday time, there are varying holidays that are celebrated and rituals and all sorts of things that really are about love and joy, but that is also where gratitude lies. And I felt it was just a really important time to discuss it. I started looking up gratitude, who wrote, from my perspective, the original gratitude book. And actually, Sarah, and I have a hard time pronouncing her last name, Bichard, something like that, wrote and is associated with the original Gratitude Journal, which was in 1996. And that's what I had in my mind about gratitude. But then come to find out that Oliver Sacks is someone who also wrote several books and information around gratitude, born in 1933, just a couple of years before I was born. And so I just wanted to, kind of get a feel for what are people saying about gratitude. And much of the information is the same. It's just said in different ways and from different perspectives. But in essence, it's the same thing. And gratitude, just bare bones, is an attitude of giving thanks. That's all it is. Giving thanks for who you are, giving thanks for what you have, giving thanks for the people in your life, giving thanks for all the blessings that you have, even if you don't always consider them to be blessings. But everything is a blessing, everything. Even the things that we may work so hard to avoid or work so hard to get away from, or think in our minds, no, 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 I can't think that's negative, that's negative, that's negative. I can't think that way. I don't want that to happen. No, I can't manifest that. Even if they were to take place, is a blessing. It's something to be thankful for. So, from my definition of gratitude and thankfulness, it really is what you come to know in your heart that is something that resonates with you and your mind from a place of consciousness that says, this is perfect for me in this moment in time, and I give thanks for it. Just really that simple. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for us being able to do this podcast right now. And whatever it is and however we choose to discuss it, and for all of you that are listening. And by the way, for those of you that are tuned in, and yes, we're so grateful that you're tuned in right now because you're on the same wavelength, and there's something about gratitude and giving thanks that you may want to expand in your own consciousness, your own heart at this moment in time. So give thanks that we're here. We're all here together discussing it and talking about it, right?
Yeah, and I think one of the I'm going to say caveats, or maybe it's not a caveat, maybe that's not the right word, where we struggle is as human beings is being able, you touched upon it a bit at the when you were talking about, is being able to be in gratitude when things show up that you weren't that you were trying to avoid, or things show up that you weren't expecting that
Mm-hmm.
gets in the way, like serious things, like, serious things that happen in everyone's life, a job loss, financial issues, marital issues, all of those things. There could be a listener out there saying, oh yeah, that's all fine and dandy. It's great to be grateful and thankful when things are going great. There's that saying, right? It's easy to love somebody who's lovable, but
Right.
true love is being able to love somebody through all of their difficulties,
Mm-hmm.
or their difficultness. And then how do we, what do we do? How do we manage through those moments, those dark moments, to say, oh, I'm thankful? Sometimes I feel in those moments you're grasping at straws, like just saying it, like you're just doing the work. It's kind of like the fake it till you make it kind of thing. It's like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to sit in gratitude to help me shift my perspective, but it's not as simple as those words.
Well, it becomes simple as those
Mm.
words. First of all, gratitude is not an emotion, it's a state of being.
Hmm.
And there are words that have vibrations, and the vibrations of certain words actually work to energetically to lift not only our spirits, but to connect with our heart, to elevate our consciousness. So, love is one of those words. Joy is one of those words. Gratitude is one of those words. And when you even say the word and you allow it to just kind of reverberate the word and the vibration of it itself within you, it's like, oh, okay. Now, yes, when things are challenging, it may not always feel that way. True. But it doesn't mean that there isn't gratitude in those moments. So I'm going to give an example of some things in my life that happened over a 3-month period of time, which I may have discussed before, maybe not. But within 3 months, I was in gratitude that my oldest daughter graduated from high school with honors. Little did I know that same day, my brother-in-law died in his home
Mm.
from what we believe to be a stomach aneurysm. He bled out. I found his body 2 days after the graduation. When we told my mother-in-law, she literally, it was like her mind broke. I could
Mm.
see her eyes get big, her pupils pop, and she was like in a whole nother state. My husband was out of town at the time. He flew back. Shortly thereafter, she was diagnosed with severe dementia. She was in her 90s, but she was diagnosed a couple of weeks after with severe dementia. She then needed a lot more care because she was I use the word hallucinating,
Mm.
um, and very agitated. Granted, right? Her son had just died.
Hmm.
My husband lost his job right after that.
Oh my goodness.
And we, and then my oldest daughter, right after that, within a matter of 3 weeks, was on her way to college. And before my husband lost his job, we were making, enough income to cover all of her tuitions and so forth. So she did have some scholarships and some grants, but we had to pay the bulk of it. But he no longer had a job because they ended up moving
Mm.
and to another country.
Oh,
Just moving out of state. They moved to another country.
okay.
And so all of this was going on within 3 months.
That's a lot.
Needless to say, we were under extreme stress. The bottom line is this: I was grateful for the fact that my mother in law was diagnosed as she was, because up to that point in time, I knew there was something going on with her,
Mm.
but I didn't know what it was and I couldn't put my finger on it. And literally for 8 years, I had been talking to her doctors and everyone trying to help me help her, while the oldest son was saying, well, we're all getting old, there's no problem with mom, blah blah blah. He was a different kind of character, I'll just say that. I will not talk ill of the people that have transitioned. um, and but nonetheless, there was the diagnosis, because the stress of his passing literally finally helped diagnose her, so then she could get the kind of care and other
Mm.
things she really needed. So I was grateful for that. I was also grateful for the fact that my husband was no longer working that job, because that job had him so stressed out
Mm.
and so unhappy and so miserable, honestly, that it was that, coupled with his brother having passed, coupled with his mother going into a really deep state of dementia with all the, I'm just going to say it, crazy that goes along with it.
Mm.
He didn't need to be working that job.
Mm.
Grateful for that. Okay. I was grateful that my oldest daughter was going to college. And although we covered her expenses for that first year, moving forward, much of it was covered through scholarships and additional things that she was awarded. Grateful for that.
Mm.
And so it was a very challenging time. My husband and I did separate for a period of time because he was under so much stress and I was under stress. And I'm like, we have to find a different way. So we ended up getting a wonderful couples therapist, went to therapy for a year, living in two different places. It was relationship changing
Mm.
for both of us. in a way that now we just had our 32nd wedding anniversary.
Happy
And
anniversary.
thank you. And everything's wonderful and moving smoothly. But I contribute much of that to the tools we learned and what we were able to do to move forward. I'm grateful for that. And so, looking at that time in totality, there's a lot to be thankful for because there are a lot of beautiful things that came out of it.
Mm,
There was a lot of growth. There was a lot of awareness that came out of it. There was the appropriate health assistance, not only for my mother in law, but also for my husband and I in terms of having a healthier relationship.
mhm,
Um, there was my youngest daughter, too. She was under a lot of stress. So she had a therapist. She was in high school and it helped her tremendously. And she graduated a couple of years later with high honors and went into the college of her choice. And so there, there's, it was a deep, heavy time, but I'm so grateful for
mm,
all of those things that took place the way that they did.
mm.
That doesn't mean that I was happy about it, but I'm grateful for it. And happiness and great gratitude are two different things.
Ooh, let's get into that for one
They're
second.
not, it's not the
Happiness
same.
and gratitude are two different things. Because as I'm hearing you share, right, I'm trying to really come, you know me, I'm always trying to come from the listener's perspective in the questions
Yes.
that I ask, right? So, it could sound to some listeners like, oh, now you've looked back and you can be grateful for the lessons.
Mhm.
Um, but really, and you just said it, like happiness and gratitude are not the same. So in those moments in real time when that was happening, how how do you bring gratitude or find that thing, like search? Because for me, I know I've had to search some days where I'm like, I am just grateful that I can actually write gratitude in this book right now because that's all I got. That's all
And
I got in
but
this
that's
moment.
perfect. But that's perfect. And that's what you do.
Hmm.
That's exactly what you do. When I found my husband's brother in his house because he was out of town and no one could reach him, and his mom was in a panic, and what I experienced, I won't talk about, but it was, think of a very gory, bloody scene in a movie.
Hmm.
It wasn't pleasant. I wasn't going, "Ooh, I'm grateful." In that moment. I was like, "Oh, shoot."
Beep, beep,
Ooh,
beep,
what's
beep,
going
right?
on here? Okay. Yeah. And but also in that moment, without going into too much of background, there was, and because of who he was or how he was,
Hmm.
I believe he was someone who really did have a lot of love in his heart, but he didn't always display it. I'll put it
Hmm.
that way.
Hmm.
But there was a level of pressure that was off because there was also a lot of drama that went along with him
Hmm.
that in the moment was not there. And so it was a time that was shocking. It was horrible. It was sad. I thought about, my husband and my mother in law in particular, and what they were going to experience. But I was grateful that I was there, able to handle the situation and able to get him where he needed to be because she wasn't able to do it. And my husband was too far away. It was going to take him hours to even come get there, several
Hmm.
hours. So, in those moments, we look at what am I grateful for, or what can I be grateful for in this situation,
Hmm.
even in the middle of it. And this may sound terrible, but my first thought was, ooh, no more drama. I'm
I
grateful for
think
that.
that's I think that that's so important to look at. I think there's something about when we're in this space of figuring out how to elevate ourselves as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
uh we forget to give ourselves the space for our humanity,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I can totally understand what you're saying, because obviously this is more of a retrospectful gratitude, but my father also passed away suddenly in
Mm-hmm.
2007, and I am grateful that I'm going to say that his spirit chose to leave,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that if he hadn't, I really do believe I wouldn't be where I am now inside of my
Exactly.
journey of you know being a life coach, doing the Reiki master, being a Reiki master, um, being out there in community to serve others
Mm-hmm.
in a very different way than what I had thought my life was going to look like. But
Mm-hmm.
I see the lessons in it. Was it a happy time? No.
No.
And to be quite honest, I wasn't in this mindset. So I wasn't grateful either. But
Mm.
then little by little, I really got to see, if that man continued to be in my life and I continued to act the way I did or be who I was, I don't know where I would be, like even from a mental health perspective or and a
Mm-hmm.
physical perspective and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I do say is the greatest gift my father gave me was leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand
I
that.
mean, leaving this earth, because even if he had like divorced my mom, and if he was in my life, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have learned what I've learned. Or maybe I would have in a different way. I don't know. But the universe gives you exactly, what is needed
Yes.
in the moment. And I still struggle though today with finding the moments of gratitude. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
very blessed and lucky. And I say this all the time because I am surrounded by such like-minded people who don't allow me
Mm-hmm.
to sit in my poopy diapers when I'm
Yes.
when I'm upset and
Yes.
feeling like, what is going on. I'm not a why me person. I'm more like, okay, what the heck, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
you know uh
Mm-hmm.
how do I manage through this? And it is a struggle to be like, but you know what, I'm so grateful that this and this, I really feel this sense of inauthenticity sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, but I'm grateful for this.
Well, here's the thing, because of the vibration of the word gratefulness, even to say out loud, I am grateful for this experience, even though I don't know why, I'm not feeling it, I'm not really thinking it, but I'm going to say I'm grateful for it because for every experience, there's something that's for my highest and best good. The universe always works that way.
Mhm.
Even if we don't think so, it's always working for our best and highest good. And yes, and what you just said about your dad, I was grateful that he was no longer literally in the emotional, mental hell and physical. He had a physical disability
Mm,
that he was challenged with, and he was no longer stuck in all of that.
mm,
What I will say is, he didn't feel well and didn't make my daughter's graduation, and my husband called to see how he was doing. And then when my mother-in-law called and my husband was gone, I did what I do. So I started searching for his spirit to see where he was, and he was in a very dark place. It was like a room that was black with no windows, no doors, no nothing. He was stuck there. And
mm,
he was asking, where's mom? I got to get to mom's house because he was supposed to have been there the next day.
mm,
And I said, well, do you know where you are? And we had this conversation. And he said, no, I'm trying to get out of here. I said, Ron, are you alive? Or are you no longer alive? Are you out of the body?
mm,
And that's when he stopped and he's like, I don't know. But
mm,
he didn't even have a realization of really what had happened or what took place. I'm grateful I had that conversation with him, and then I'm grateful that I was the one who found his body because my husband wouldn't have been able to deal with it. His mother probably would have had a heart attack on the spot.
mhm,
But it also gave me an opportunity to make sure that his spirit was free and no longer in that box.
Mm,
So I did what I needed to do before the paramedics came, um, to basically take his remains, because I had to do certain things before then I could have the morgue pick him up. So my husband and mother-in-law didn't have to deal with that, but also on the spirit level. So I was grateful for that as well.
mm. And it's really like it is a gift. Gratitude
Mhm,
is a gift that we
mhm,
all have access to. It's not like, oh well, she can bring gratitude and I can't bring gratitude.
mhm,
It's it. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning from this, and I or have been reminded of, is the
mhm.
power of words and the frequency, because everything is energy. If
Yes,
if we
everything.
can come back to we individually in those moments of whatever's going on in our lives, and remember that we do have control over energy, like our energy,
Mhm,
like the yeah, okay, you can't control who's going to pass and who's not going to pass. You can't control if you're going to lose your job or keep your job when companies make big decisions.
mhm,
And they're doing whatever they're doing, or interest rates are going up, or grocery prices are going. Those are things you can't control. Those are outside of your control, but you do control your thoughts, your energy, your beliefs, the things that you contribute into the world, however you contribute them.
mhm,
And the reminder that I got is just saying, just putting out there, even if right now you're not connected deeply to the gratitude,
mhm.
to say, you know what, I am grateful that I'm the one who found them. I am
Exactly.
grateful that they chose to leave my life, that I didn't have to do this like whole boundary thing and cut boundaries and keep people, and live
Mhm,
with guilt and all the stuff, that comes
mhm,
along with it. I'm grateful. Um, and I don't know if I've shared in our previous episodes, my father was my abuser. So
mhm,
he left. I didn't have to make a decision to cut him off and out of my life. He did it. I didn't have to deal with any of that stuff as I was beginning to look at my life and heal and all of those things. So just that there's so much power in that.
There's a lot of power in it because, again, these experiences help us personally to realize so many different things that we may not have stopped to open our awareness to because we're stuck in whatever it is we're doing.
That word stuck, right?
The
This.
word stuck. He was stuck. Yeah, with your dad was stuck. You were stuck. My brother-in-law was stuck. We were stuck.
Mm-hmm.
The passing was a blessing because it created freedom for all in these different ways.
And I want the listener to get, we're not just talking about somebody passing, or
Right.
it's all the
No.
things like, okay, every day I get in the car, it is a struggle because I always get stuck behind someone who's really slow. And I'm like, I know the universe keeps saying, Nina, you're not learning the lesson. Have some patience. Because and then I'm like, when I get to my location, sometimes I do say, okay, thank you for putting
Mhm.
that slow person in front of me. I don't know what has been avoided because of that slow person who I did say lots of nasty words to in my car.
And it may be in that particular moment in time, you needed to slow down in order to be more present, in order to pay
Prob-
attention to something.
Lynn, probably more than likely. But it's so funny because my daughter and I get in the car, and whenever we drive or whenever I'm in the car with her, she's like, Mom, I think it's you. I think when you get into a car, all the slow people come out to drive.
They do. And why? And you have to ask yourself, and this is what you're grateful for. Universe, I get it. You are definitely, sharing with me there's something that I need to learn here. There's something I need to do. And I'm not clear what that is. I know that when I'm ready, I'll receive it, but just keep sending me the messages. And maybe the message is once you allow yourself to just be very present, to not be in the hurry, to not be in a space of rushing, or controlling or shift or, having to grab hold of something, and just let it be. And that when you start doing that, you'll find that the traffic patterns change. And I can share that with you, and that you could be grateful for, because I was exactly the same way. Living here in LA, I'm like, what the heck? This traffic is crazy. I have to get where I'm going. And I'm not feeling that as well. It's everybody feeling it.
Mm,
Until I finally said, you know what? There is no rush. We have eternity
mm.
to do what we need to do, to learn what we need to learn, to grow the way we need to grow, to manifest whatever needs to be manifested. We have eternity because we're spiritual beings.
I just got the awareness in this conversation is that I am manifesting all the slow people in front of me because I think that's what's going to happen when I get in the car.
There
And like,
you go.
and so I
Exactly.
am grateful for this particular conversation in this moment to be like, oh, I'm actually doing that. It's so there's a gratitude for two things. Gratitude to remember to be grateful to that
Mm-hmm.
place of being present, but also
Mm-hmm.
how powerful thoughts are. Like, how
Oh,
powerful is
very.
it that when I'm in the car with even somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
that this is manifesting? Now I'm just going to manifest that every time, I go into my bank account, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of
Well,
money in there.
honestly, that's yes, no, and that is actually part of how it works, because energy does not move from a good or bad place, right or wrong. It just doesn't.
Just move.
Energy is consistent in what it is and how it works. It is our perspective and our judgment on it that says it's good or bad, right or wrong. It's serving us or not serving us. That's
Mm,
our perspective of it. Or and in many cases how we judge it to be.
mm.
But the reality, which goes beyond feelings, our beliefs, all the other stuff that we, want to attach to things. The reality is that energy working the way that it does. So, this being in gratitude
Mm,
is an energy in how we are able to assist our thought patterns,
mm,
which then changes what comes out of our mouth. Remember, words have vibration. Vibrations vibrate through us physically. It literally goes into every cell of the body, those vibrations. The body then vibrates at that level. It has an effect on our aura, which is our energetic field. All of it is connected. And so when you are saying those words and in a place of gratitude in your thoughts, it begins to shift everything. You start to feel better over time. You open yourself up more to love and the wonderful possibilities of things. Okay. And yes, manifestation. Our thoughts are also what we believe or don't believe. And that's part of what manifests. And how do we know what our thoughts are? By what we speak most of the time.
mm,
What we speak most of the time, honestly, then goes back and it continues to keep programming us with the same thing. So at the point where we have different thoughts, and even if it's the same thought, but we express it in different terms, so
mhm,
the vibration of the words are different, so that it is expressed in a way that reverberates within us, that creates a wonderful manifestation of what our heart desires. Then we can be grateful for that, even to pay attention in those moments. We're grateful for the awareness.
mhm,
So, all of these things are how we can do it. And the more that you think a certain way, affirm a certain way, or and confirm, it doesn't become just a belief system, it becomes knowing.
mm,
Like, even when the bank account may look like it has $2 when you know that there is more there for you and it comes, it does come.
Yeah.
I have experienced this throughout my life where, things were crazy. Like even the example, my daughter goes to college, we had to cover the first year. Um, and we were short a certain sum. It was it was somewhat substantial. We saved up, but it wasn't as much as what was needed. And yet, with everything going on, my consciousness says, "Well, there's always more.
Mm,
There's always more. I know there's always more. Even in doing miracles, and funding it, it's like, yeah, there's always more. It's Don't worry about, just do what you have to do because you know that that money, that abundance always comes. It's there. So
I
just allow
love
it to
that.
be there and focus on what you need to do to stay in gratitude and
Mm.
to move forward.
So that's the secret sauce. That's the, in our conversation, there's a secret sauce. And sometimes honest to goodness, there is that practice. Like we call it fake it till you make it, but it's more like a practice
It's
that you start to put
it
into
is a
place,
practice.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
until it's like, okay, how can I be grateful in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
I was sharing with you, I share with everybody, I have that, I coined that term, I'm a cantaholic, right? The
Mm-hmm.
first thing that comes into my mind when something new or is shown to me or asked of me, my first like knee jerk reaction is, well, I can't do that.
Uh,
Trained myself to be like, okay, stop. But what can you do? Okay, maybe you can't do that thing, right? Like I can't have the energy right now of a 20-year-old because I've not kept up myself to have
mm-hmm.
that. But what
Mm-hmm.
can I do? What
Mm-hmm.
can I do? And it has taken a long time for me to switch my thinking,
Mm-hmm.
to input that piece. So I'm not saying that my thinking has changed from my knee jerk reaction. My knee jerk reaction will always be, oh my God, how can I do that?
Well, no, that will change too.
And then it goes into, okay, no, all right. Well, what can you do? And or if somebody interrupts me because they know what my thinking is like, we'll be like, no, but what can you do? All of that I can't just disappears. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm in, okay, what can I do? What can
Mm-hmm.
I do in this moment
Mm-hmm.
to move things forward? And I'm so grateful that there's that piece that happens. And what I really am saying in a nutshell is we all have the power to be
Yes.
grateful. And
Yes.
when it's something new for you, when it's been something that you haven't done, it's not a practice that you have done, you know, try like practice it, put it
Yeah,
into
it
place.
is a practice.
Literally, if you just open your eyes in the morning and be like, I am so grateful that my eyes
Mhm.
opened this morning.
Yes, yes, it is a practice. That's exactly what it is. It's like, anybody that works out, you want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to, whatever it is you want to accomplish, you set about a particular practice in order to reach your goal. And that's exactly what gratitude is. And I invite people again to say it out loud as often as possible, even if it's, quietly, because again, the sound of your voice goes into the universe and comes back to you in 7 seconds, and it reverberates throughout your entire body and in your mind. And it's the most powerful thing that you respond to is your own voice because it recognizes it.
Mm.
So, that's why I encourage people say that out loud. And even when you just said fake it till you make it, I went, ooh, because I'm like, no, we don't fake it. There's no faking of anything
Mm.
because all energy is real. So instead of fake it till you make it, it is simply be aware that I am making it because I'm taking charge of what I believe, what I choose to experience, and what I know to be true for me in this moment.
Well, thank you for that interruption and that thought pattern. And with that, I want to say, if you like what you're listening to, first of all, please comment, like, share, subscribe wherever you're finding us. The other thing that I would invite you to do is our lovely Lynn Herod DeVergis does an Ask Lynn, where you get the opportunity to ask her questions about your own personal life, whether it's through channeling, mediumship, just her own special energy that she brings to the table. And we really encourage you to become a member of our Wellness Seekers membership group, because that is where you get that wonderful access to Lynn, and she will answer all of your questions. Believe it or not, we are, we had our first inaugural Ask Lynn, I think it was last week, and it was wonderful. We got such great feedback, and it's just wonderful to watch people's questions being answered and giving them some sort of sense of peace or security, or even just like things to do to get where they need to go or where they want to go. And I'm very blessed. I get Ask Lynn anytime I want.
Yes, you do.
And I do try not to take too much advantage of it. But let me tell you, if you get a chance to take advantage of Lynn's skills, her love, her patience, just the advice that she gives, I really encourage you to hop on to our website, which is miraclesdirectory.com. Click the membership button, click the seekers, and have a look and join us. Join us. It's very little out of pocket. I believe it's very well worth the amount that it is. And join our community and get into deeper conversations. This is where we're live, and we can exchange information versus you listening to a podcast or watching us on YouTube. So we will be back in another episode. So like I said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And we are so deeply in gratitude for all of you and all of the energy that you give to us.
Thank you. Well, I'm grateful that you are the host of the podcast and the person who wears multiple hats for Miracles. And without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do and be where we are. So I'm very grateful to you, and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Until next time, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Healers Talk Healing. We hope you've been inspired and empowered on your holistic healing journey. If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to continue learning and growing with us, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review our podcast. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, healing is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to transform your life in profound ways. Stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop believing in your own capacity for healing.